Hi all, right back with more Normandy, the beginning and the end, using the Alone in the Storm, solo expansion, just doing scenario 1, patrol in the front, it's my part 9, so almost coming to the end of turn 2, just have I forgot to mark this? Yeah. Yeah, he's just the officer anyway, yeah, so he's finished as well. So, yeah, I only got this infantry intel marker to do, so we don't need to check priority then, we just need to find out what it's going to do. So yeah, let's just do that. Now, it receives this. Now this can't be placed on the thing because it's an intel marker, so it says place it underneath it, but I think on top of it it's fine. So it's not high level, it's medium level. It is offensive, so it's in this area here. It's an intel marker, so it's this column here. Is there platoons up to 3 hexes away? 1, 2, shoot. No, that's. Don't think so. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's German as well. That's the nearest one. 1, 2, 3, 4, or that. So that's a no. Platoons in spotting range placed at greater than or equal to 4 hexes. No, because we can't. There's no line of sight. Yeah, there's no line of sight, so it's out of spotting range. That's what we decided the first time we'd done that. I was a little confused by when it says spotting range. I mean, the spotting range between there and there is more than, it's probably 6 or 7 hexes or something. So that's in range, but because we've no line of sight, I think you've got to take that in consideration. So I think it's out of spotting range, and we're into. Oh, hang on, we're not high though. We're medium, so we're on here. So it's an assault. Well, we're not going to do that. I can't do it anyway. I don't think. It's going to advance, right? Again, we're just going to skip by the assault stuff. So it's going to advance. Right, we need the chart for that then, eh? Right, yeah, so it's this chart here. So we're going to advance. Advance / defensive movement. But it's an advanced movement we're doing. So may attack with MFF without moving. So that's obviously just checking there because it would override that, I think, and then try and carry out an attack. So it can't do that, no. May perform a safe assault, no. Right, yeah, this was a chart that Grant decided to try and go along this way. Swimming against the arrows, John, swimming against the arrows. Right, may perform a safe assault, no. So select a target. And remember, we were just going to advance, so we can select a target here. And then it tells us that the target wants to be the closest hex with the AI force, may attack with MFF. If it cannot be attacked with MFF or make a safe assault, well, that's fine. It cannot be attacked with MFF. It's not interested in assault. In defensive mode, they will only advance, so it's not in defensive mode. So the closest hex where the AI force may attack with MFF and divisor 3, 4, 5, or divisor 2 if it cannot be attacked with MFF. So it doesn't care actually. It'll go for 2, 3, 4, or 5. I mean, I guess when it comes to more than one option, it's going to want the better terrain, obviously. So closest hex with the AI force may attack with MFF. Right, let's look into that. So again, this would just be a bit clearer if these finish markers were coloured differently, so you knew that what they were. This is German, this is German, this is German, this is German. So that's the US, that's US. You can see what I'm talking about, I think. This is US up here though as well. So closest target, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 away. 1, 2, 3. That's 4 away. That's 5 away. So that's 4 away and that's 4 away. The closest hex though, in fact, yeah, closest hex where the I force may attack with MFF. Now it's MFF is what, 21, isn't it? I think they were 21 because it's an intel marker. I don't think he's going to be able to, he's not going to be able to get to this, but he will be able to get to this, so that's quite interesting. Yeah, because he can't. If I move there, that's not any good. If I move there, yeah, that works, I think, doesn't it? Yeah, because that's the same as him being there and me being there, isn't it? We can see each other from there to there. So my guess is, because this has got blockage in it, we can see each other from there to there. He's in woods, white woods. Well, I could see him from there as well. And to be honest, that's a more defensive hex. So, and I'd be firing with 21. Yeah, 21, and 21's fine. 10, as long as you've got 10, it doesn't matter what the divisor is. And the divisor for that, the woods is, the white woods, I think there's only 3 for the white woods, isn't it? Or is it 4? No, it's only 3. So, the closest hex where the I force may attack with MFF and divisor 3, 4 or 5, or divisor 2 if it cannot be attacked. So any of them will do. You know, this is open, so this is a 2, this is a 3. And he can move 4. Oh, he's not going to be able to move. You know what, he can move into this hex, he can't move into there. Because this is it's 1.5 into the woods and the fields, isn't it? 1.5, but the blockage is an extra 1. Yeah, it's 1.5 into the field. So that's 2.5. Oh no, he can move into there. Yeah, he can, Grant. So it's 2. No, hang on. Yeah, it's 1 to cross the blockage and 1.5 to move into there. That's 2.5, and then 1.5 to move into there. There's no blockage there. So he can move into there, or he can move 1, 2, 3, 4 into there. So both of them are closer, right? And they would give MFF against that target. However, I want to believe that that it's going to pick this hex over that hex. I'm just trying to find where that. Hang on. No, it's more than one company. So our intel marker may have the same target hits. No, that's not it. This is advanced movement, target, type, destination hex. The target hex or any hex en route the shortest one to the destination hex, depending on movement type, including as many hexes with block line of sight to player platoons as possible. Avoiding as many hexes where player platoons may react as possible. Yeah, I'm still not seeing the bit that tells me I should move into there, over there, but it must be, I mean, it makes sense. It's what you would do. I'm sure it's there. It's not on this chart. Well, I'm saying it's not on the chart. Could it be within the flow chart? Maybe. I don't think so, though. You would think that would be a priority thing, wouldn't it? So we selected our target. Well, Well, not really. We've got 2 target hexes, haven't we? Is safe movement available? Yes. Because they can't react, so it's just going to move to that hex. Yes, strange. I feel like I must be missing the bit that it tells me to move. I mean, it says there, the closest hex with the AI force may attack with MFF and divisor 3, 4, or 5, or divisor 2, if it cannot be attacked with MFF. So it's allowing for 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's not sort of saying 3, 4, or 5 first. That's not, well, it's certainly not the way I'm reading that. Let me see the rule book then. I mean, I don't really need to be looking for this, but and there we go. It's right there. You would have thought this was on the chart though. No, I've not seen it. However, it's there. After that, once we've got advance and what we're doing, after that, determine the target hex, the closest hex when an AI force can attack with MFF or perform a safe assault, with a divisor value 3, 4, or 5, or 2 if that AI force cannot be reached with MFF. That's what we're doing. We've found the 2 possible hexes we can move to. If several hexes are available, choose the hex with the highest divisor value first. Yeah. I mean, it made complete sense, but anyway. So, I'm not going to need to put these on. I mean, it just says move to hex this one as well. Again, so, but I mean, I suppose we should put it as an advanced movement. So, technically, you know, that just to show you, that should go on there. And then our target should be a yellow triangle. And that should go in there. But, I mean, what's the point in doing that? We're going to move right to it. That's the order that's been given. We're now going to move this guy, and he's going to move 1 crossing the blockage, 1.5 moving into the fields. That's 2.5, and then another 1.5 moving into there. And that's going to be that. And we don't need these. So, he's going to be marked finished. No, it's not that one. And that's it. I mean, he does now. He can shoot at that guy. 2. Yeah, no, he can't. He can't shoot at that guy. I don't think. Just that guy. So there we go. Well, that activity level marker is going to come up. Mind you, so is the finish marker. That's going to be it, isn't it? Yeah, because he was only mid-jump, he doesn't get the chance of 2 actions, and yeah, that's it. That's it. So that's the turn over. They've got it passed now as well. So we're going to remove. Yeah, I don't think I need to go looking for the rules. We're going to remove all the finish markers to start with. There we go. It looks so much better when they're away. They just kind of like cover everything up, but I mean, yeah, you've got to mark these things. There's no way around about that. Right, and I want to say these come off as well, don't they? Double time markers stay on. Well, they just stay on. Again, I'm going to stick by my guns with that they're not classed as being double time once we move into the next turn, but we can't double time with them. We'll just keep the marker on for that. Right, that comes off, and then the 2 that are on the headquarters chart, they come off as well. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? And then we move to turn 3. Remember, there's only 6 turns, so this is us going to be moving into halfway through. Well, we got 1 step loss on them, but I forgot this machine gun took a hit as well. So this guy's got a step loss. This guy's got a step loss. One of them's got a step loss. And remember, that's worth a victory point, isn't it? So I suppose they're beating us in the actual attack, but we do have 1, 2, 3 objective markers. More than likely going to get a 4th quite easily. But yeah, like I've talked about, the fact that they get to attack twice and they're more than likely going to get 2 high activity levels again. And the fact that the morale rolls, an 8 or something? Well, I suppose this guy's a 7, but he's a 7, he's an 8. I think this just counts as an 8, doesn't it? I may be wrong. I need to check that. Maybe a 7. Okay. Right, well, we got through that sort of rough patch. I think it was part 6 or something. I was struggling away, and now I feel a little bit better about things, but I do so wish, again, I think I've said this already, that the videos were not in Spanish, or I could understand Spanish, because that guy's, he's played the first, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, the first missions. He's played them right through solo, you know. He didn't, I don't think he's done it with the intel markers, but that bit I'm okay with. It's just some of the other stuff. You know, anyway. Okay, can we push on, Grant? Possibly. 16 minutes. I've not got much more time left, but I can do a little bit more. So initiative, I think. Well, let's just make sure we're not missing something before we push on. Yeah, so we've got to remember the headquarter phase. So we've got the command phase first, actually. Don't think there's any issues with that. He's got a command rating of 2, so he can pick up his guys. Him as well. He's only got a 1, but he's Echo. So these 3 are fine. Foxtrot has got a 2. They're all quite tight here. And the Germans shouldn't be. This is Bravo, a Panzer Grenadier. He's got 2. This is Bravo, the air. And then the infantry marker is fine. Right, so nobody out of command. And then the headquarter phase, though, determines the rush resistance value. And I've got the page open here in the rules, but is there not a... Yeah, it's this one. That's the one that I was a little confused to why it was in green. And then it was quite the comment I got probably explained it perfectly. That was just easier to read it. So we count the controlled objective victory points earned by the AI side. So that's... Right, now, I was a little bit unsure of this. Should we count... Yeah, I mean, because you get a victory point for step loss. Step losses don't go away as well. So they've got 2 step losses on us. Let's just see what it says in here. We must count how many objectives are controlled by the outside. Oh, yeah, see, count how many objectives are controlled by the AI side, which is none, or their current victory points if the scenario doesn't include objective hexes. Well, it does include objective hexes. They've got none. Does that mean... The way that words it there, I mean, it's the way it words it here is you count control objectives / victory points earned, which would be 2. But the way it's worded in the rulebook suggests that you only count the objectives because we're playing with objectives, and you don't count the other... You know, the losses. What does it tell you about the victory points? Or is that maybe just being the main rules, though, Grant, I think. Yeah, so it's not in the main rules, it's going to be in the scenario. So there's victory conditions. 1 victory point per each step loss inflicted to the enemy, plus the value of the VP tokens of the hexes under control. Now, for purposes of the solo game, it says that you count each one of the objectives as 1 victory point. I think we've got to take both of these into consideration. I mean, whether I'm just going out there on this one or not. So, the AI don't control any objective hexes, but they do have 2 step losses on our troops. So I'm going to say they've got 2. And then we count controlled objective victory points earned by the player side. Well, that's one. Remember, these count for one each. They might not be one victory point, but at the moment, that's how we count them. So that's 1, 2, and they've got a step loss in us, so that's 3. It's in there. Oh no, hang on. 1, 2, 3. They've got 3 victory point hexes and 1 step loss. So they've got 4, and we've only got 2. So we calculate the difference. So it's 2 take away 4 is -2. And then we count the forces in play, discarded depleted companies. There's no depleted companies. We count the player companies in play, discarded depleted. So that's 3 and 3. So that's 1 to 1. So it's 1 to 1, but we're -2 on the objective side. So -2, 1 to 1. It's still 4. Well, that's quite close. If that was to step up one more, you can see if this result was to be a -3 on 1 to 1, it would drop to 3. You can see there, but then 3 or 4 is not going to matter to them anyway, is it? Don't think. No, it would, because that would round down to only 1 high activity level marker, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? It's half, and you round down, so 1.5 rounded down, so they would get 1 high and 2 mediums. Yeah, they would. So if we can knock them down to that next turn, that would be better for us. So, but they still stay at 4. The rush value is 4. That's what the bottom line is. So that stays the same. So now initiative. Well, again, the US get a +1 for being initiative last turn, +1 for being attacker. So they get a +2. Green dice is the US. Yeah, +1s are going to give them 6 against 5. So it is going to be the US again. And I think that's us on to that was initiative activation phase. Yeah, so it's us to go first again. I think I might just stop. Well, we're at 22 minutes. I'm not going to get another chance tonight, I don't think. Well, I might. Well, we really need to step in here and do something, don't we? We need to. Yeah, I think we've got to have a go there, because they're going to really batter us about a bit. But yeah, I mean, how do we go about this? I mean, this is, I think there's 1 step loss in here, isn't there? So this is going to be 11. Now we could use the machine gun as well. That was the thing I wanted to check, the machine gun on the combat results table. The DRM for it. Well, give me a second. Okay, I'm annoyed with myself there, because I said I was going to go and look that up before the last sort of attacks all went on, and then I forgot all about it. And it's really important. They get a -2 to a machine gun platoon firing from 1 hex away or in the same hex. That's huge. Now there's also a -1 for just a machine gun being involved in the attack. They're not cumulative, these though. They don't stack up. So I think I'm going to have to stop just now anyway. So hopefully what I can do here is maybe try and look into this and maybe fix this, because I mean, this machine gun fired adjacent. This one might have fired, and then this one, did it not fire the last turn adjacent? So it might be that there's a worse outcome here. I think it's probably looking worse for us. So these machine gun platoons are really good. Get them up adjacent, you're going to get a -2. Even if they're not adjacent, just being in the fight, they're a -1. And I should have realised that they're going to be beneficial somehow, aren't they? Yeah, and but I'm saying that is not in the that was something new that they added. But I mean, it's been a rad, it's a rad, and it's beside the double time target bit. It's got a little bit saying machine gun, firing an adjacent hex or same hex, and they get -2. And then there's also a -1. I can't remember where it is as well for a machine gun just firing. So I will need to get that chart printed out. So hopefully I'll get down to that at some point as well. Right, I'm going to have to leave it for now though. I'm only at 25 minutes here, so I'm not going to wrap this up as a part. I'll just add a bit more on to this next time I get. Unfortunately, the next couple of days are going to be no-nos. But after that, I'll probably have a few days free. Where I should get some more done. And I just thinking back to things. That part 6 or whatever it was, where I was getting kind of like kept bumping into things. I was getting a bit frustrated there. Felt like, no, I'm definitely not going to play the second scenario. I'm just, that's how I was feeling at the time. But then again, once things start moving, it's quite smooth and quick, and you know what you're doing. So I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced yet. Don't know if this is my kind of thing. I've said it before though. Conflict to Heroes I really liked. My only frustration with that was that some of the solo side of things, I just wish they tightened up and made it clearer. And then I tried, the Heroes of Normandy, the Walk of Mode stuff with us, and the solo side that never really got that. And this is very similar to that. The other games that I've got, I mean, I've not done any ASL. I've got the first starter kit of ASL, but it's not really solo. It needs to be solo, and there needs to be a way of solo in that. But I think you can, and yeah, I know you can do two-handed, but the other one, Combat Commander, it's quite similar, but played with cards, but similar kind of tactical sort of scale, isn't it? But there's a solo version of that as well, which I'd be keen on trying out. Although I think you've still got to make decisions and that for it. But I'm not sure if this really is my cup of tea. But like somebody pointed out to me, Fields of Fire is a tactical sort of level as well. And I love that. I love Fields of Fire. I really do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing a bit more of that. Hopefully, I suppose the deluxe kit shouldn't be too far away now, maybe. I keep forgetting. I'm going to have to actually order that. I keep forgetting to do that, because I'm only going to get the update kit for it, because my understanding is that that's all I need. I've got the full version of the game. I've got Fields of Fire 1, 2, and the Bulge thing, which I've never even opened, to be honest. And in fact, Fields of Fire 2, I've never really delved into either, because it was just a slog back then. But the guys have got it much more playable now. You go and ask a question on BGG, and Andrew will be there. It's like being on the Discord. He'll be there in a flash to give you an answer. Anyway, that's not what this game's all about. But I suppose it's comparing them and wondering if, if the AI of this stays intact. I feel like I was losing it there a bit. If it does, then hopefully we can, I can progress to scenario 2 and do a bit more of this. I'd like to. Depends how I feel though. I'm not going to play a game that I'm not really getting enjoyment out of. So at the moment it's okay. We're okay. So we'll see how it progresses. Right, 29 minutes. No, I still can't create that as a part. It's just not right. Doesn't fit in with the length of my videos. So I'll cut this as a bit here and add another bit on, and when I get the chance, a couple of days time. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, welcome back to this is just a continuation of part 9. I didn't actually realise I had a part 9 on the go. Again, I've been away for a couple of days, and so I've got 29 minutes in just now. I don't think we've done anything, just sorted out the initiative and done the HQ phase and whatever. So Americans have the initiative. So I think that's where we're about to start. So they must have hold on. Did their rush value not drop by 1? Or am I making that up? I want to say it went down to 3. No. It wasn't. If I can get them another minus, by either possibly taking another objective, I can get them to 3, and if I get them to 3, half of 3 is 1.5, rounded down to 1. They'll only get 1 high activity level marker. That was it. So they are still at 4. Okay, so it's about it's just moving in that activation phase. I'm going to be the Americans to go. However, I've got a few things I want to talk about. They're kind of building up, so I want to get them out there now. First of all, I got an answer to my question eventually. Of course, it was on the Alone in the Storm forum on BGG, on that page. I don't know, Javier, Javier, Javier. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. Spanish. I don't know if he's got any involvement with the game or not. However, he's not really cleared up anything for me. He just said, because part of my question was the fact that it says that any AI force reacting receives an activity level marker unless it's out of command platoon and there are still intel markers or companies remain to be activated. As usual, assign the first available activity level marker to the order high, medium, low, and this is when we activated. They were set up for reaction in the last turn, and we reacted, and they got an activity level marker. But there was a bit more to my question than that. But however, he's answered, hello, he says, activation markers are only used when it is the AI that moves. When the AI reacts, you simply have to look at the reaction table and roll a die to see if it reacts. Well, first of all, it clearly says in the rules that, and I linked that just sentence to him again. It's on page 9 under 6.43 reaction. Well, that starts on page 8, but it goes on to the paragraph that's applicable is on page 9. Any AI force reacting receives an activity level marker, unless it's an unless there's some conditions, but not any that we are breaking. So I don't know. He talks about activation markers, and I'm talking about activity level markers, but I'm assuming we're meaning the same thing there. Can't see what else it could be. So it clearly says in the rules that they do get one. So I've replied to that back to him. Also asking about, he says, look at the reaction table and roll a die. And I hunted about for a reaction table. Assume that must be part of the solo side of things. I cannot find a reaction table. There was some conditions that allow the unit to react, so I don't know where he's getting that from as well. So I've asked if he can reference me to that, that'd be great. But so not really cleared up there for me anyway, that. We'll just move on from that one. Now, while I'm on BGG, let's go and bring up Mike's comment here, because this has turned out to be rather interesting. He says, hi Grant, he says the chart A2 is a list of officer actions. Please refer to section 3.2 of the rulebook, this should help. Yeah, it tells you about the officer's actions there, I get that. He then goes on to say that because I'm not using all the rules, this is what's causing a bit of the trouble. I agree, I understand I should have started with all the rules. Like my reply to him was that the rulebook actually tells you to stop after section, when you're learning the game. It's in the main rulebook. When you're learning the game, it tells you to stop after section 1. Don't go into section 2, which is the heavy weapons. Stop and play scenario 1. So I thought that was going to be all good, and I thought we'll introduce the game and just play with the simplified rules. However, of course, using the solo side, it doesn't cater for that. It just throws everything in it. And I'm not knocking that, because for them to create a solo mode that didn't take all that. You can imagine the amount of stuff that they would have to alter and different tables and whatever. So I'm not knocking that, but if I'd realised that from the start, I would have just bundled everything in and done it. But because we've got so far in here now, I'm just going to stick with it. Which is going to interfere. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. We're not rolling in a dice when it's the choice of attack or what was it? Assault. We're just taking the attack action. I mean, this the same for us. The Americans, the Americans aren't getting to assault either. Now, as for some of the officers' actions, I started reading on the rules into section 2. I started reading that yesterday because I thought, well, if I go into scenario 2, I'm going to bring all the rules in. So I started reading that, and that's when it starts talking about the artillery missions coming in, and it allows this it allows the officer to do this, and it's not an actual just a solo rules thing. This is something that we can give an order for our officer to do. So it's not just a solo thing that. However, you need to have artillery platoons. Full stop. And the other ones, the off-board artillery and off-board air missions, like John Brown, which we'll get to his comment soon, and Hal also backs this part up about the fact that we've not got any off-board artillery missions, we've not got any air missions, and we've not got any whatever the other one was. So, yeah, I mean, it's not... I don't think it's a huge big deal, but yeah, in hindsight, I wish I'd incorporated all the rules, but fair enough. Now, the interesting part that Mike talks about, he says, the rulebook part 23 mentions risky actions, but no commentary is given. You need to look at the Help Arrives module where these actions are described. I went right through the Help Arrives stuff that I've got. I've got that game, Help Arrives, and that's where I got the version 2.1 version of the rulebook, right? That's where I got this version of the rulebook in the Help Arrives game, because that's 2.1, and the one that comes with the Normandy game that I had is version 2. So there's quite a lot of changes. So I don't know where he's meaning the module within the Help Arrives module where these actions are described. I can't find what he's meaning there. But I started looking at the rulebook. Now, what is this page? It's part 23. Part 23? Mentions risky actions. Yeah, risky actions. So, in fact, the risky action comes at the end of it. So let's get the solo rulebook out of the way. I don't need that. I'm just going to show you some of this stuff though, because this is not something that I noticed at first. I mean, we've not done any of this. So he's talking about the risky actions bit here, and there's a few things that you can do. You can cross a river, you can construct an improved position, you can cross or remove barbed wire, you can also remove a roadblock, pontoon bridge, anti-tank ditches, dragon's teeth, enter and sweeping minefields. I thought this was part of the exclusive rules, but that's actually not. However, so he's talking about these risky actions. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what he was meaning, so I thought, but they're in the rulebook here, these things. And then I started looking, and this is weird. So this is a couple of pages previous, so this is page 39. Yeah, just get zoomed right out of here, I think. So we've got improved positions. Was that something that was marked? Barbed wire. We've got roadblocks. We've got pontoon bridges, right? On page 39. This is the 2.1 version of the rulebook. I flip to page 40, and we move from, what was that, roadblocks to trenches, and then fortified positions, and then rubble. Well, on the PDF version of the rules, that's not what you see. What you actually see is, and I'm going to bring in my version 2 of the rules to show the bit that we just looked at, starting with improved positions, barbed wire, roadblocks, pontoon bridges, and this is missing. Anti-tank ditches, dragon's teeth, minefields. That's all missing from my new version of the rules, and then it moves to trenches. I'll just go back to the 2.1 version again. Now you've got all this purple stuff in between, which is all about fortified positions, but I mean, there's no mention of Dragon's Teeth, anti-tank ditches, minefields, and any of that. And like I say, on the PDF version of the rules, on page 41, it talks about anti-tank ditches, Dragon's Teeth. This is different. So I don't know what's went wrong there. Something's not quite right. Because I thought, right, have they changed it? And then, if you look up the PDF version of the rules, page 41 is more like this. And like I say, this is version 2. This is version 2 of the rules, and this is a more up to date one. So something's went wrong there. So when it comes to all that stuff, I might have a bit of difficulty with that. So I don't know what's went wrong there, but and yeah, he might mention. Like I say, I searched through the Help Arrive stuff. I mean, you've got exclusive rules. This is the Normandy exclusive rule. The Help Arrive one's got these as well. They're only a handful of pages long, maybe 8-10 pages. I think the Help Arrive one's shorter. I thought this was where but this one talks about it's not Dragon's Teeth, rhinos, isn't it? Rhinos here. So this is something. Hedge cutters they are. So this is something just exclusive to Normandy. But I couldn't even find in the Help Arrives one any kind of exclusive things that talked about the risky action. So not quite sure what he was meaning there. Maybe he might come back to me with something more there. But that's kind of strange, the rules the way they are there. Yeah, okay, so just looking over some comments on YouTube. I say John Brown, he's followed some of my games before. I think I mentioned this already, that he says, I am a gain and have done research but do not own the game territory. And he's done this a couple of times actually, following along with my games. And it must be I don't know don't know why. Well, he must have an interest in the game, surely, to sit and listen to me going on and on for hours and then without having the game. But it must have an interest. But he certainly picks up some rules things better than I do anyway. So yeah, he talked about the double time being modified. I think I mentioned these, didn't I? I think I mentioned these first ones. I did. So I'm not going to go through that. Yeah, it's just I just replied to that today. That's why I'm just trying to catch up. There's a couple other comments only. Again from John. Sorry, here we are. Right, so this should be new stuff. And yeah, he brought up an interesting point in this one, actually. Yeah. Don't swim against the arrows yet. Yeah, he says, the recon range for a given unit is its movement points. The part that's confusing you is just attempting to confirm that it's movement points and hexes and not the movement range, i.e. count terrain movement point cost. I knew I wasn't talking terrain because it mentions that you weren't talking terrain. What threw me was it says regardless of movement type, which is I think the bit that threw me. But you know what? He's confirmed to me these infantry have got 5 movement points, so their recon range is 5. So we're just gonna go with that. I'm not going to delve too much deeper into that. Now this is interesting though. He says, that said, I believe one platoon could try to identify as many intel markers are in its line of sight. Now, not something I thought about. So I think you could have also tried to identify the intel marker on 1104 at the same time you identified the marker on 1005. However, if you had multiple platoons with line of sight to a given intel marker, you can only make one spot on attempt on said intel marker, not one per platoon. Yeah, I knew that. So he says the net effect would be that you would not have had to do a recon mission with a platoon in 1007. So interesting. I'm not going to, rather than go and look right into that just now, when we do a recon mission again, I'm going to look more into that. My reply was interesting. I hadn't thought about this, but it doesn't appear to be restricted. So I'm guessing John's looked at that as well, and it doesn't. The restriction is you can't try multiple times on the same intel marker. But one platoon could... you would think that would finish it, though. Let's have a little look then. Hang on. Here it's here. I mean, my guess is John's looked into this though. I mean, he wouldn't just be making this comment. He does say, I believe, that he could. So recon mission is a new action introduced along the storm. This action can be carried out by some of the player platoons after their activation. Instead of moving or attacking, only the following player platoons are eligible. So foot infantry platoons with at least 2 steps and 5 movement points. So that was legal. So it says activated player platoons that comply with these requirements may perform a recon mission and attempt to identify an intel marker located up to as many X's away as a player platoon. Yeah, I'm not so sure then, John, but hold on, let's read on a bit further before you... Because it does say an intel marker there, as in one intel marker. This rule assumes that only a portion of the platoon is sent in recon mission. For this reason, the whole platoon is marked finished after the recon mission. I don't know. I would have to be asking a question on that. And my thinking of that is I don't think that's the intention in the rules. He says, that said, I believe one platoon could try to identify as many intel markers are in its line of sight. And I think just that word in there, activated player platoons that comply with these requirements may perform a recon mission and attempt to identify an intel marker. There's nothing to say that it can do more than one intel marker, that's the thing. Whether it's clear, completely clear there or not, maybe not, but I'm looking at it the other way, I think, John. I'm seeing it differently. Not awful clear, but I'm seeing it slightly differently, I think. I would sway the other way, and I would think the intention was that you could only do one, but you know what? We'll maybe look more into that, and we'll maybe go and fire a question out there. But you can see where my questions are going to go. They're going to be slow to get any attention. So anyway, okay, so that was that. So we'll come back to that, and then yeah, this. Well, he talks about the play that I show for this. It's actually not a play. These weren't even in the game, although they look like they should have came out of the game. This is the order of battle sheets that were on PGG. Yeah, and he references us. The link is at 46. This is part 6, is it? 46 minute and 15 second. The played you showed at 37:30 showed the motor Panzergrenadier at 6.2 with the mech Panzergrenadier at 7.2. He's talking about this, and yeah, I didn't click to this. He's quite right. Remember when we were trying to get the Panzergrenadier ones, well, there's the mechanised ones, and you can see these have got a firepower of 7, and the motorised ones have got a firepower of 6. So that does show you the differences between them, because I had 2 sets of them out. Kind of thought that, and when you look in the back of them, they're in black as well, which means they are tracked, aren't they? These are wheeled, I think, aren't they? I mean, I did reply also that I feel like the amount of counters in this game, I think they could have done a better job at describing what was what. I can see I'm going to get there with it, but you know, you're having to sort of battle your way through understanding what's part of what and working it all out, I think. But anyway, thanks for your comments here, John. Well, we've got one more to go, I think. Right, and then this was from part 7. I've got part 8 out there now as well, actually, but I just uploaded that yesterday, I think. So, part 7 at the 40 minute, 45 second mark. He says, as far as I'm aware, you have no artillery on or off board, or air missions. Correct, I don't. So, I think the only conditions on the officer order chart that apply to this scenario are numbers 1, 3, and 7. 1 being rally, which is the one that we're going to use. 3 being move, and it would just move with the platoon. That's saying if it's not stacked with friendly forces. Okay. If it ends up in an area that's not stacked with friendly forces, then we would give it an order to move. My guess is it's probably going to want to move to to a platoon, to join a platoon. And then 7 is none. It's no specific orders. Afterwards, mark it accordingly with finish or reaction markers. Which I think, I kind of forgot, one of the officers in that last part, I don't know if I eventually marked it finished or not, but it hadn't done anything. It wasn't going to do anything. But so these ones don't count. It says the Germans definitely do not have onboard artillery at this time, i.e. a unit capable of making an art attack. If I'm wrong and you do have off-board artillery or air missions, then the OBE or air missions lines would also apply. That's that one and that one. And he edits that by saying you confirm that there are no OBA or air missions available shortly after. And then my reply was, yeah, I've been reading some of the later on rules and it explains this a bit better to me. They're not crystal clear. And that's what I was going back to about the officers. Our officers can do these as well. This is not just an AI thing. Now, this requires OBA missions available. This requires air missions. This requires OBA missions. So they 3 require them. This one requires you to have artillery units on the map. So we don't have that. So that's fine as well. And it's not that I'm skipping rules here because we've not got any artillery units. We can't use that. So we can only use 1, 3, and 7. So, good stuff. And then Hal chimed in there as well. He says, I have the same take on as John. In the specific instance, you were checking none of the conditions apply, so there would be no order, none. The officer would therefore perform the same action from any remaining platoons at Statwa. The watch out, I think, is that adjacent units are not affected by this other than remaining in command. The long and short of this is I believe you played this correctly. Adjacent units are not affected by this other than remaining in command. Well, I'm not quite sure I get that, but let's just leave that because that's fine. Right, that's me up to date. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your comments. Keep them coming. Yeah, because I'm going to need more and help. Okay, I managed to get myself to 22 and a half minutes there. Well, I say I had 29, so yeah, I'm going to kind of cop out here and just bash this together as a part. I know it's a bit crappy, but I'll just stop this and start again rather than start because we've not moved anything yet. So I know it's probably one of the parts that doesn't do an awful lot, but I'll be back shortly with part 10. Cheers.